edition of Realities may vary. The podcast it does, whatever. We really still don't know. That's problematic. But either way, I'm Brian Noonan. That, of course, look freshly coiffed, the Cody Gough.
Welcome.
Freshly coiffed?
Well, I don't know. Welcome. Oh, I did get a haircut since the last time. Yes. Welcome to comedy. Tonight on Comedy Show, I, Cody Gough, have very little to contribute as always. Actually, my allergies are acting up, which I blame on Brian. We'll get into why it's his fault. It's a little low energy here. What else do I have to talk about? I just went to my 20-year high school reunion.
Wow.
Giving away my age. I can no longer just say I'm 20 to 30 range as I put on my acting resume. Although the 20 may be a little bit of a stretch at this point. Brian's going to talk about things. He's got to talk about beer under glass, give some beer recommendations. He wants to know if it's okay to hate a 7-year-old. His dog might be racist. We've talked about this before, but we might as well go over it again.
Came back again.
He's now a land baron, perhaps also an oil baron. I'm not really sure. It's hard to know with him.
Depends if you squeeze my head hard enough.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that's what we got. It's for our little 5-minute, 30-second check-in. My allergies. Yesterday, just decided to go haywire, but I'm going to say Brian didn't make them any better.
Wait a minute. What did I do? How am I? Well, I don't understand because I have allergies too. And you know what I do? I take a little allergy medicine and I'm fine.
I did. I had a Benadryl up last night.
Okay.
But just before my allergies were severely irritated, I decided, you know what? It's a Sunday. I'm going to get high.
How is that my fault?
I'm going to get high. And usually I'll have a little edible or maybe hit a little tiny vape pen that I've got. But you don't know what's in that vape oil juice, carcinogens. I don't know.
I wouldn't be fired. Not when there's natural herb, man. Come on. 420.
And I didn't feel like loading up my dry herb vaporizer. Well, I happen to have a fat blunt sitting around.
Right on.
May or may not have procured in part thanks to you. And so, I toked. I la ganjaria, and I got a roll high. And after that, I couldn't breathe because my allergies decided to be very agitated by it.
Hold on. So, because you smoked that was the one in the tube, right?
It was in the tube.
In the tube, it was a high-end blunt from Southland Farms.
Was it high-end?
Niles, Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder I got so high.
That was from Southland Farms. That was pure organic, man. That was green. That was no chemicals, no additives. That was right from Jesus's crotch pocket.
Wow.
Yep.
It's pronounced Jesus.
All right. I don't know who works at Southland anymore. But so all right, but I gave you that as a gesture of goodwill. I don't see how I can then be blamed for your allergies popping up.
Well,
because hay fever and hey, I got the fever are not connected.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like a couple of times when I've lit up a fat blunt and gotten toked. A couple of times. Sometimes when I've done that, it's irritated my allergies. I would ask my anytime I ask any of my doctors, specialist or general practitioner, nobody knows anything because we haven't studied weed. So especially with blood sugar, right? I go to my endocrinologist, who's one of the best endocrinologists in the country. She's phenomenal. And it's like, what does smoking weed do to my blood sugar? She's like, I don't know. Nobody knows that. There's no research.
Let me. I've done a little research. Let me guess. If you smoke weed, your blood sugar is going to go high because you're eating a bag of Doritos and Oreos.
So literally,
and I don't know why I keep doing that voice every time I talk about weed. I don't know where that voice is coming from. I apologize.
No, it's funny because she literally said that. She was like, well, your blood sugar might go up because you might get the munchies.
There you go. See, I could have been an endocrinologist.
But fine. All right. Well, anyway, nobody knows what weed does, but I think it irritates my histamines.
We'll get you high. Oh, you got your histamine. Does it attack your histamine blockers?
It attacks my histamines. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I toke, when I toke, this happens.
So was it just you back on the deck with your big Cheech and Chong joint that I gave you?
Basically, I only smoke. Are people supposed to smoke a whole joint when they smoke it?
No, haven't you heard my story? You lived it.
Yeah, no, you don't. No, that was like your first time doing it ever, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's different. But I get. Okay, so I'm not a seasoned...
I don't know. It's a pretty big. That was a pretty big joint.
No, I didn't smoke. I definitely did not smoke the whole thing, and I was very like I was like, I don't know, like as I've aged like a fine wine, I have become more aromatic, and also
so you fart more. All right, got it.
I less actually. I think I did it the most when I worked with you because you couldn't smell it.
That was probably a good idea.
But I've internalized not doing it because now I have a wife and she can smell it.
Oh, those wives with their noses.
I know. So I don't remember what I was talking.
Well,
as I've grown older, I feel like getting high has had diminishing returns.
Okay.
Like you still, like in your 20s, like hit something a couple times, and you're like, oh man, I'm out of my mind. And it's like everything's different.
Right.
And now, like I don't know, I'll do an edible, and I'm just like, well, I'm kind of tired now. And I guess I kind of am more willing to just go on YouTube and watch Norm Macdonald videos all night, which is every time what I end up doing.
You've mentioned that a number of times that you go down the Norm Macdonald rabbit hole.
Never gets old.
Okay. No, he's very funny.
Never ever gets old. It's just, I don't know. But this hot, like I was baked. Like I was
see, that's a good testament to Southland Farm. I'm giving him another plug.
You should.
It's like I know somebody who owns it.
Dude, I was like a tombstone pizza that just came out of the oven at 450 degrees for 11 to 13 minutes.
You were baked, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was baked like a expensive bag of chips.
Now, where were the children? Were the children just out doing things, bringing you snacks, or what were they up to?
I don't smoke around children. Come on. I'm a responsible father.
I know that.
I have a wife. We have at least one.
I have a wife.
We have at least one functioning adult around at all times in case of emergency. And
well, I know you weren't hotboxing them. I wasn't saying that. Get your toddler to come here, dude. I am way baked. You gotta feel what daddy feels.
Yeah. Marta in the chat, how about not smoking it? Yes, smoking is not the idea. I very, very rarely smoke. I almost exclusively do edibles. I have like a 4,000 edible stock.
I was going to say, don't you have a cubic gross of edible seconds?
Yeah, I wanted it to hit quickly because I didn't have, limited time around kids, little windows to be a little high, and then you're basically asleep after that.
So it sounds like this hit you a little harder than you anticipated.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, I loved it. It was great to get Southland Farms represent, man. That was good stuff.
I might have another one of those for you.
Oh my God.
Because I get them and I buy them to support, and then I never smoke it. So it's like, all right, here you go. You enjoy the herb.
Dude, you know what the weirdest thing was too?
You saw God.
Yes, but that wasn't the weirdest part.
Oh, all right. I apologize.
Right. No, dude, I handed it to my wife, and she held it for a second, and she's just holding this joint, and there's all the smoke coming out or whatever. And I don't know if it was just like the 80s movies we watched growing up or whatever. But I was like, dude, that's super hot.
Oh man.
I didn't know that was a thing.
You were dazed and confused.
I do not.
All right.
I've never dated a smoker. I actually had a great date one time with a smoker, and after the date, I'm like, I had a lot of fun, but you reek. Like I'm not into that at all. But
so it didn't necessarily have to be the pot. It was just that she was smoking.
No, I think just holding just some holding the lit joint. There's something kind of cool about it. It felt like subversive,
Yeah, you were dating the bad girl. So you were married to a naughty girl.
Yeah,
smoker chick.
She was wearing all leather at the time. That might have contributed to it. A leather jacket.
Tuscadero.
What's that?
What's Leather Tuscadero?
Is that a Puccini opera?
No, that's Pinky Tuscadero's sister from Happy Days. Pinky Tuscadero, and then Leather Tuscadero was a biker chick, and she loved the Fonz.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Little 70s flashback for you. Wow. If you're still high, I'm really going to mess up your time-space continuum. I'm going to put you in the metaverse.
You want to talk about edibles? I have a bag of edibles here, and between that and the Benadryl I'm going to take after this show, nice. I think I may never wake up.
Wow. All right. Well, then we better make this a good show, because if it's your final one, God forbid.
Well, we're already about where's the clock's cut off? 10 minutes in, and I've just finished my 30-second check-in. How are you this week?
Well, I'm gearing up. It's the last day of school tomorrow, and all right, let me ask you this. If you spend money on food and you have leftovers, even if they're not good, are you going to eat them just so you don't waste the money?
It depends on how bad the food is.
All right. We got some Chinese food the other night. What's today? Monday? Saturday, we got some Chinese food from our place that we go, and it's always good. But there was something on your menu new. And you ever read the menu and think to yourself, wow, that sounds pretty good. I got to try it. Now, I wasn't really out money because I had been gifted a nice gift card from the folks at school when I had a anniversary of my birth. So it was basically a free dinner. And I'm like, well, let's try. How about we try one of the new dishes? And Chinese food, you always get a few things so you could share and mix it up. And it was a shrimp dish. It was the honey pecan something. And it said in a mayonnaise sauce. And I thought, well, there's a lot of kind of mayonnaise sauces. Like when you go to Chick-fil-A or anywhere where you get chicken strips, Popeyes, you get that dipping sauce. Cane's has great mayonnaise-based sauce. I'm like, all right, this might be kind of good. It wasn't. It was basically like they took very lightly breaded shrimp. The shrimp were big and plentiful, a little bit of broccoli, and then just watered down a bottle of Hellmann's and dumped it in there with a little bit of honey. I don't think I'm doing it a disservice by my description because it was not good. So I only ate a little bit of it Saturday, and Debbie had one piece of shrimp. I went, this is awful. She didn't eat any more. And that's exactly the voice she used, which freaked me out even more. I'm like, she's possessed by some sort of horrible shrimp dish demon. But instead of just tossing it, I put it in the fridge. And we had a little orange chicken left over and blah, blah, blah. So I said to Debbie, hey, we're just going to have leftovers for dinner tonight. She said, yeah, all right. But then she didn't. Then she had something else. And I was like, oh, I don't really like this, but I don't feel like I should waste it. So I ate it, and I was not happy. I was not happy eating it. It was a meal of just for pure sustenance. There was no enjoyment. No thick mayonnaise shrimp. Just gross.
Yeah.
So now I have to stick with my usual things because everything else there is good. Now boatloads of jumbo shrimp. It was a nice amount of jumbo shrimp. But even the shrimp, even the quality of the shrimp could not save it from the gelatinous white goo. It was kind of grotesque looking.
Yeah, so this is actually really, the timing is interesting because on April 29th, Saturday, April 29th.
Okay.
I actually had the worst food I have ever had. And we ordered food from an Indian restaurant.
Yes.
And threw out the entire order.
Really?
The entire order. And I wrote a review. Do you want to hear it?
I would love to hear your review. I can't believe you reviewed something.
Here's how it goes. This is for, I'm going to call him out. This is for Biryani Point Indian Pakistani Halal, somewhere near Lombard.
That's a lot of labels. Right there, I'm a little nervous, but go ahead.
It's like the Chinese place that called itself Best Chinese Food. Because they knew you'd Google that.
Right. Oh, look at that. Best Chinese food.
There was one I think also called Chinese Near Me. Search engine optimization.
You're very smart when it comes to social media.
So here's my review from Saturday, April 29th, 2023. And I quote,
ooh.
I did not feel safe eating the food. The gyro meat. Oh, so we also got a gyro for my son.
So you got a gyro and yes, Indian food.
We got yes.
That's a lot of cultures coming out of one storefront.
That should have been a red flag. I'll tell you why I ordered it in a minute. This is what makes me really mad. All right. I think Grubhub is racist.
Wow. Yeah. We'll lump it in with our whole racist hunk.
It's going to be good. All right. And I quote, I did not feel safe eating the food. The gyro meat was squishy and rubbery. The cheese in the palak paneer had a bizarre consistency, like it wasn't even cheese. The chicken, in quotes, fell apart in my mouth like undercooked fish. I would not be surprised if my entire family got sick from this order. We ate only a few bites of each dish and will be discarding the rest. My family never, in all capital letters, never wastes food, and I never complain about subpar restaurant food. But this was a new level of bad. Our orders also were supposed to come with rice and tandoori, which they did not. The portions were incredibly small. I have used Grubhub for years, and this is the first time I've been mad enough to write a review, and the first time I will be trying to figure out how to get a refund. This is the worst food I have ever ordered.
Oh no, you froze up. Is it him or me?
Can you stop?
Your picture froze up. Now I see. Now you're back.
Did you hear it all though?
This is the worst food I've.
This is the worst food I have ever ordered, and it's not even close. End quote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you ordered it directly from the restaurant, or you ordered it through Grubhub, who contract. See, I don't know. Not that I don't trust Grubhub. I've never used it. I go right to the restaurants, and I always pick up.
I ordered it through Grubhub, and so here's why. And here's why Grubhub is racist.
Okay.
This is so weird. But so this is not weird. My wife likes palak paneer. Do you like palak paneer?
I don't know what palak paneer is.
Me neither. It's Indian.
Okay.
So,
that's racist.
Every time I order it, I've got several stories around this.
Yes.
All right. So
I've only had Indian food, to be quite honest, a couple of times. And I've enjoyed it both times. One was at a place in New York when I took Molly there. It was Aziz Ansari had that like sitcom-y kind of thing, and this was a restaurant they would go to on there. So she took me there, and it was very good. The food was great. They didn't serve alcohol. Bummer. And then there's a Indian place in Oak Park that Debbie and I went to a couple times that has a lunch buffet. It was very tasty. And then in London, I went to a place called Typhoon, and it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. That's why I remember the name of the restaurant when I don't remember any other name of anything. So I may have had panak paneer, but I don't know. So on with your story.
Yeah. It's just funny what you said but I'm not good at identifying many different Asian foods, but I've always contended that all Thai food is actually the same dish. It's all just like noodles and a couple nuts and maybe one or two things. And one time I was in Seattle traveling with friends, and we went to a Thai place, and I was telling them this, and I'm joking around about how it doesn't matter what you order, everything's the same. So the server comes over, and I was between two items, and I go, "Oh, what's the difference between like this dish and this dish?" And he goes, "Oh, they are actually the same." And swear to God,
we just needed to fill out the menu, so we added a couple things. Same thing. Whatever.
This was like 10 years ago, and I'm like, my friend Max is still mad that happened.
Oh God, that's funny.
So I'm not a big Indian cuisine connoisseur, but my wife likes palak paneer. So if you go on Grubhub and you search for palak paneer, it just gives you Indian restaurants.
That sounds like a Bollywood actor. Hello, I'm Panak Paneer.
It's palak paneer.
Palak paneer.
Palak.
Palak.
Hold on, I'll Google it.
Well, it still sounds like an actor.
Paneer. I'm Googling it. Palak paneer is a thick paste. Shut up, Google. I don't need you to tell me verbally. Palak paneer is in a thick paste made from pureed spinach called palak in a bunch of languages. Yeah, anyway. So it looks it's like a green bowl with like a yellowish chicken in it.
Okay.
Basically.
All right.
Looks horrible on camera, but
yeah, I'm already seeing the problem.
It looks better in person. So my wife was palak paneer, and then this is like the third time we've run into this issue where I searched palak paneer, but when you search palak paneer on Grubhub, it doesn't give you results of restaurants that serve palak paneer. It just gives you Indian restaurants.
Oh,
and that's racist.
Well, is it an Indian dish?
Yeah, but not all Indian restaurants serve palak paneer.
Okay. All right, I'll listen. I'll back you on this. You've gone down roads with me before. It'd be like if I Googled gyro and it just gave me Greek restaurants. I don't expect it to give me a Chinese restaurant if I'm Googling gyros.
Right, and that's fine. Anyway, so the point of this is that it's stupid. So in Grubhub, so I'm like, all right, closest Indian restaurant, tap. All right, search Palak on the menu, not there. So I got to go back and I got to go down.
I see. Okay.
So there's like 10 restaurants down, and like clearly they don't have good reviews because everyone's blasting on the reviews. They're just horrible. But it was the only place that had palak paneer. So the next time we get Indian, if my wife is like, I want palak paneer, I'm gonna say too bad. You can get something else.
Yeah, there's got to be a good Indian restaurant somewhere in your area.
But they don't serve palak paneer, and that's weird because it's like a staple Indian dish. I think from the Indian restaurants I've been to.
I've heard that Indian people in the western suburbs abhor palak paneer because not only is it a dish that they grew up with, he was also a war criminal.
Oh.
So they don't even like, it might be called something else. Same dish might be called something completely different, like chicken and spinach gruel.
Yeah.
Did you Google that?
I did not Google chicken and
yellow
spinach
chicken
gruel.
and spinach paste.
I'm so yellow right now.
You were very yellow, like you looked like the chicken in that bowl.
I need to white balance this this camera here. Does that look white to you?
No, it looks baby blue.
Baby blue.
This car could be for you.
Can we please white balance?
Oh, now it's whitening. But now there's like it looks like you tried to erase a bunch of pencil sketches for. Oh, now it's blue, yellow. Oh, mucus.
There's no way to white balance.
Looks like mucus. It got white for a minute.
The color temperature is just not.
Technology blows. Let's be honest. We should just be standing on a street corner yelling this.
I look so weirdly colored. Like
no, now you look okay.
Does this color match my actual color of my hand? I'm trying to just.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like.
That looks like you.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this. I can have two hands. I can do this. Let's try this. Nope. I'm white. The thing is, I'm whiter than this. Do I need to up the exposure? Brian,
you're washing out.
I studied radio and I don't know how to do lighting.
Well, that's because it was radio. We could do radio in the dark.
I think we have.
I'm sure we have. We used to turn the lights down, get romantic, get some palak paneer, eat it off our sweaty bodies.
I'm just gonna.
Marta says you should ask for that specifically. They might be able to accommodate you.
That kind of looks like me. Ask for what specifically?
Palak paneer.
That's true.
Maybe you got a guy in the back who's been itching to make some, and they're like, nobody wants it.
But then I would have to call the restaurant. And that's the whole point of the internet is so you don't have to interact with people.
No, you got to interact with the restaurant, straight up with the restaurant.
I do prefer that normally, but in this case, it wouldn't have mattered.
I don't know. Huh. Yeah, you'll just have to start looking around for an Indian restaurant. Maybe you got to go there. Maybe you just have to go to an Indian restaurant.
I'm not going to this one.
No,
so anyway,
sounds awful.
To answer your original question.
And they had gyros on the menu too, and that wasn't a red flag?
Yeah, mistakes were made.
That's all right. We've all made mistakes. I ordered some mayonnaise-based shrimp dish.
Well, there's places that can do 45 different cuisines well. Look at Cheesecake Factory.
Never been to one.
Their menu is 200 pages.
I've heard that. That's why I don't need that in my life.
You do. You need a piece of cheesecake that shows the calorie count next to it, and it's always over 1,000. No, always.
I don't. Tammy's saying your computer is racist, Cody.
Mine?
It's trying to make you non-white.
It's trying to make me something.
No, I've never been to a Cheesecake Factory. I try to stay away from mall dining. Except like back in the day, we used to go to Red Robin when we first moved out to California, and that was at the mall. But now they're freestanding. But we haven't been there either. Try not to do too many chains, really.
Okay, that's fair.
And it's not even like a stand. Like I'm not taking a stand. It's just like I'll drive through a McDonald's and grab a breakfast biscuit sometimes. But yeah, like yesterday we went and picked up my ma. It was real quick. And we went to a little tavern that has a restaurant near her house that everybody loves. And it's great. And I'm like, why would we go somewhere else? The food is always good. They have a lot of different beers. The service is great. it's So yeah, I guess I just have no desire to go to a Cheesecake Factory. That's
Do
no
they
shade.
serve-
I'm not throwing shade at the Cheesecake Factory.
You shouldn't. Do they serve palak paneer at your local place?
You know what? I don't know. I wasn't on the menu yesterday. They do rotate their menu seasonally. I don't know if summer is a good time for palak paneer.
Palak paneer.
Palak.
Yeah.
Palak.
Mhm.
Put a palak on it. Palak it down.
Palak it down is actually a phrase in Klingon.
Palak it down. That's what we're going to do. We're going to palak it down, paneer. I'm just going to call you paneer the rest of the day. We're going to palak it down. Yeah, so I ate it rather than threw it out, even though I didn't actually pay for it. I wasted my gift card on it, but I'm just going to chalk it up to a bad mistake.
That's the point of wasting the whole point is I don't have to pay for this. So if it's terrible, I don't have to eat it either. That's the whole point.
It was shrimp. I couldn't throw out shrimp.
The shrimp was bad?
No, the shrimp itself, the actual shrimp was good. It was what the shrimp was smothered in that was bad.
Oh. You couldn't use a napkin and dab it off?
I scraped a lot off when I put it on to reheat it tonight in the microwave. I scraped a lot off.
Okay.
It was like some sort of, I don't know. I don't want to get graphic.
Okay.
This is not shock jockery. I don't need to get into that. You can for yourself come up with a joke for a white creamy substance that was all over my shrimp. You can do that yourself.
And that is the end of our 30-second check-in. It is now 26 and a half minutes into the show. What are you got a lot to get to. You got beer, you got 7. Well, we're already on the topic of both racism and hate. So
I'm just going to throw out, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I believe my grand dog Walter is a racist. I thought maybe as he matured, he would get rid of all this. He's been coming over a lot lately because, well, this weekend was Taylor Swift mania. So Molly brought Walter over here.
Wait, did she go?
Oh, did she go? Hells yes, she went. And
she
she's
got
going next
taken?
Friday to Detroit.
How did how she got tickets.
No. She went Friday to Chicago, to Soldier Field. And then she also got tickets for next Friday in Detroit. I don't know what happened. There were 4 computers blowing up the internet the day they went on sale here at the house. And she scored 2 sets. And I said, oh, why don't you sell that second set and make some do-re-mi? It will subsidize. She's going on a big vacation with her friends later in the summer. They're going to visit Bernie Sanders in Vermont. And I said, it'll pay for your whole summer. You sell that extra pair of tickets. You don't want to drive to Detroit. Who wants to drive to Detroit? People in Detroit don't want to drive to Detroit to see Taylor Swift. And that's no slam on Taylor Swift. But no, she's going. So yes, Thursday morning, I'll tell you this quickly because the Swifties are out of their minds. And Taylor Swift could be the, she's a great artist. She's an evil corporation, this Taylor Swift. She's got it figured out. She opened her concession stands a day before the concert, like 36 hours before the first show. Molly went to Soldier Field at 6:30 Thursday morning to buy merch.
Why?
Because then you don't have to wait in line the day of the concert and you have your merch. So they opened merch tents all around Soldier Field Thursday morning. There were lines, but not crazy lines. The lines were so hit and miss, in fact, that Molly had taken an order for the girl, my cousin's daughter, that she was going with Friday night. And then the girl she's going up to Detroit with next Friday. She had taken their orders for what they wanted because unlike when we used to go to a concert and we would just go, I wonder what kind of t-shirt they got, man. It's cool. Or we'd buy bootlegs, across the street. My first concert was the Eagles, Steve Miller Band, and Pablo Cruz. And I bought a bootleg baseball style jersey across the street from the old Comiskey Park. They all know what's on. Everybody's talking about what's on sale in the merch tent for Taylor Swift. And there are a couple things that are all the buzz, Cody. One of them being a $65 crew neck sweatshirt that the letters are the same color as the sweatshirt. So you don't really see all the writing on there, but it's there. And I can't hear you. You turned off your mic.
I was made black. I'm wearing black on black right now, actually.
Yeah, but even I could see the insignia on your shirt. Molly brought the sweatshirt over Thursday night when she dropped off Walter. I could not see. Yeah, I could see something was on there, but for the life of me, I couldn't. You could have put a gun to my head. I couldn't have read it.
Taylor.
But maybe it's me. So she got all that Thursday, and then she went to the show Friday, and she did not wear a diaper. I don't know if you've heard this. A lot of Swifties are wearing diapers to the concerts because Taylor plays for over 3 hours. Well, doesn't play. She sings. She performs for over 3 hours. And then there's an opening act. So it's been all over. It started just on TikTok. Then I talked about it. And then everybody copied me in mainstream media and started telling the stories too, how Swifties are wearing diapers so they don't have to leave to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
They're also exchanging friendship bracelets. They're doing all kinds of things. It's a community, Cody, that we are not a part of.
The friendship.
Gina says her 12-year-old is envious. She wanted to see. I know a lot of people. The woman I teach with, who's close to 50, she was very envious. She wanted to see. Everybody loves to see Taylor.
The friendship bracelet thing I can get behind. Wait, let me grab this thing off my desk to show you. Wait, one sec.
I can't wait.
It's right here. It's right next to me. Hold on.
I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to wait. Yes, Lynn, I do like the chicken salad.
Okay, I'm back. See,
chicken salad chick, but quick. While it's a chain, it's only a chain of about 3 stores. So, and we don't go to dine there, so it's not quite the same. There may only be 2, could be 3, but it's not like McDonald's or Cheesecake Factory. If so I will quibble with you on that.
At EDM shows, people hand out. Sometimes they'll make like beaded necklaces and stuff. They'll do what's called candy, Kandi.
Is it drug related?
Probably, I don't know. But they'll make like bracelets with like beads, and they'll spell out something or whatever. And some people will paint paper clips and hand them out. And when I got home from the Odessa show at UIC Pavilion in like 17 or 18, I found this purple paperclip, a tiny miniature purple paperclip attached to my jacket. So like the lapel on my sport coat, or maybe it was my sleeve or something.
I like that you wore a sport coat to an EDM show.
Grandpa. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I was baller. But
hold on. I got to let Gidget in. Keep talking.
She's all right.
Whining at the door.
Oh, she's whining at the door. But anyway,
upset. She always got an issue, that Gidget.
My camera will not focus on it, but there's a little bit of silver Sharpie on it. And it says on both sides, it says dream big. And it's like, because the vibe of EDM shows is like very, very positive. It's very like Plur is this like EDM saying peace, love, universal respect. So Plur is like everybody's, and of course a lot of people are on MDMA, so a lot of people are rolling and they love each other. But like at EDM shows, like it's a very positive vibe. There's the peace, love, universal respect kind of thing. And people are, kind of have each other's backs and stuff, and it's a younger crowd, and so they're more idyllic, and they haven't become me or Brian yet. But
hopefully nobody becomes me.
But there's this little like paperclip, and it says "Dream
That's
Big."
Cool.
And someone like clipped that on me, and it sits. It actually is clipped to a Post-it note on my monitor, so it's right in front of me on my computer, like all day, every day.
Nice.
I just I love it. It's actually one of my favorite things that I have. And it's like the dumbest thing, right? But I can. So anyway, that's the thing in the EDM scene. So that I don't think the Swifties are that extreme in that regard. But
no, listen, I don't blame them. I'm not. Oh, what are they? I will. The only thing I will say is the tickets were very expensive, and I would have seen one show and sold the other pair. But that's me.
100%. But when you say very expensive, the actual face value, how much? Like 4 or 5?
I can't remember. I don't think it was that much. I don't think it was 400. She had pretty good seats. She was in, she was kind of in the corner, but the 5th row off the floor. So just high enough off the floor to see over everybody's noggin. And Taylor performed a lot on it wasn't a straight across, like a proscenium stage. It had a big runway coming out the middle. And I got to tell you, she filled that, I saw some footage. Oh, people, she has a big personality. She fills the space. And there were, I guess, tons and tons of LED screens, so no matter where you were sitting, you could see.
Yeah.
The only thing, as I'm watching some clips that people posted, a lot of singing along, like to the point where I probably would have been upset. Like, shut up! I paid a lot of money to hear Taylor sing. But then I talked to one of the teachers went last night, and we were talking about this at school. I go, everybody was singing along. It drive me crazy. She goes, no, but you could still hear Taylor singing over everybody else, except when she, didn't sing it just like the record and would stop early or something, and people would just keep going. It was like Taylor's psych to everybody. You don't know Tim McGraw. So
I saw some website that said that the tickets were, they could go up to a few $100. I looked at Pearl Jam tickets at United Center for this fall, and they're insane. It's like $300 if you want to be behind the stage. It's insane.
And that's Eddie Vedder, who was going to fight Ticketmaster, remember?
Yeah, right? Yeah. No.
Thanks,
no.
Eddie.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just an economics thing. It's not because Molly was shocked at how many of her songs I knew, because she's everywhere. She's like the biggest thing. And so it's just an economics thing where I'm like, there's no show that's worth that much to me.
Yeah.
There just isn't. But I'm glad Molly had a good time. I'm glad everybody had a good time. And man, you couldn't have asked for better weather for the Swifties to come to town. Now I'm wondering how it's going to be up in Detroit. I said to Molly, oh, you could go right down the street and get some Mom's spaghetti from the M&M store. Not M&M's the candy. M&M actually has a place called Mom's Spaghetti right by the field. Right. You can go get a bucket of spaghetti. Not surprising, Molly does not think she's going to add that to her itinerary. But I said to her last night when she came to pick Walter up, how was the show? It was great. There was also something on the news that people weren't remembering it. There's some psychological phenomenon that when you're in an event that is so emotionally packed and you're so oversensitized that sometimes people leave and they can't remember anything about what they just saw. What? And I was like, oh my God, that would suck if you paid all that money to see Taylor Swift and then you left and you were like, what just happened? I can't remember anything. That would suck. I forget what it was called. Now, see, if I knew any science podcasters, that would have been something I would have asked them to investigate. But I don't know anybody who does it. So that was, she remembered the show, so that was good. And she didn't wear a diaper, which even if she didn't use one, I kind of wanted her to wear one just for fun, just to say she did.
Oh man.
But I think if you say you did, then it's assumed that you used it.
Yeah.
She said she drank nothing when she got there.
I don't think the first time we saw Guns N' Roses, and they performed well over 3 hours.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't think I went to the bathroom the whole time.
Probably. Yeah. When I was younger, I never would go to the bathroom.
I wasn't that young.
No, because you were at your 20-year reunion the other day. How was that?
What? Well, we never talked about how your dog is racist.
Just because he is. Just because Walter. We have Asian neighbors on one side and black neighbors on the other side, and all the humans get along just wonderfully. And Gidget and Lawson could not care less. Now, my neighbors on the one side have these two little yappy dogs, like a Pomeranian and something else, and those dogs bark incessantly. But they seem to bark at everything. So I don't
know. They're the worst.
Yes, they're very yappy. So anytime I go to take the garbage out or something and they're out there yapping. And then Walter comes out and he starts yapping. And then, the three of them are just going at it. And then my neighbor walks out and Walter just will not say. It's not just a cursory like bark, bark, bark to let him know you're there. He just will not stop. And now it's summer and the windows are open, which I hope you don't hear any outside noise. I got the window open because we turned the air off yesterday. And I like to sit out on the deck, smoke a cigar. I had the other day I had an horchata ale from Pipeworks Brewing. Nice. with vanilla and cinnamon and lactose. but I like to be outside. Walter's got to stay in because he's a pain in the ass. So, he comes over a lot. We'll have to just start. We told Molly got worried yesterday, I think, because she was talking to Debbie while she was driving over, and she heard him going nuts outside. And then she came to pick him up, and Debbie was like, he was having a rough time this time. So,
we have a yard, but we're a bit far away, and he'd probably slip through the cracks in our fence.
Yeah, he's tiny. Well, he's small enough.
He's small enough.
But other than that, he's getting really good. He behaves well in the house. He listens. He doesn't have accidents. When we tell him to go up to his house or his room, if we got to put him in his little house, his pen, before we go somewhere, he just grabs a toy and runs right up. It's just for some reason, maybe it's just all people. But it just, seems to be my neighbor Rodney was such a good-natured guy because he'll go, all right, Walter, that's enough. Okay, Walter, I see you. Okay, Walter, that's good. And I'm like, and we're like, Walter, stop. And we're apologizing. He's like, don't worry about it, because his daughter's dogs are the ones that bark at me. So yeah. Who knows? But that's that.
I love that my son is that age where like he's just like, that's a little girl or that's a little boy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even see, that's not a thought he has, right? Like there's a little, one of the little mini people like action figures he's got, and it's a little black girl, and he's like, oh, the little girl is doing this. He's not like the little black girl is doing this, like that's that categorization, that unnecessary, unscientific like categorization just happens later in life, and
it's taught.
It's so arbitrary and stupid and taught, but it's like, it's really refreshing to see him, and he's going.
Well, I enjoy the flex that your son is more involved than my daughter's dog.
Yeah.
I would have given him that anyway. But no, you're right. They're little kids. Like in my first grade classroom, there's all kinds of kids, white kids, Hispanic kids, black kids, everybody gets along. Everybody's friends. They're all, like, okay, cool. This is how it should be.
That is how it should be.
Then you see the parents, everybody's like, blah, 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 blah. So we're all, it's some of that. A lot of that is learned behavior. I'm going to say most of it is learned behavior just from being around little kids for so long.
Of course.
Until the judge told me I couldn't. And then, whatever. I don't know. The other day I used the Ring doorbell to tell what I thought was my dog to shut the hell up. But then I realized she was on the couch. On the bright side, the neighbor's dog shut the hell up. There you go. Very nice, Tabby. Yeah, those, oh boy, speaking of technology and Ring doorbells, you saw that big settlement, right? Amazon had to pay out millions of dollars because Ring doorbells and Alexas were storing voice data that they had said they weren't going to store for years and years. Shocker.
I did not let smart speakers in my house. No, thank you.
Nope.
Or doorbells or anything from Amazon that can hear, or I won't buy a Roomba now because Amazon bought Roomba.
Oh, really? You're afraid the vacuum cleaner is going to eavesdrop?
Dude, no, it maps the GPS floor plan of your house. I don't want Bezos or whatever, like knowing the floor plan of my house. Get out. You can go to Zillow if you're that desperate, but I'm not going to have you satellite feeding this, how much dust is under my couch.
I like that you think Jeff Bezos is going to care where you live.
He does.
Well, I don't doubt it. You're an award-winning podcaster.
Thank you.
So I understand. He might view you as a threat.
Thank you.
A whistleblower of some sort. Once he read your Indian food review, he knows you're not to be trifled with.
Dude, after I left that review, I got a call from a 630 number.
Uh-oh.
And I wonder if it was the restaurant calling me to
Could be the restaurant.
That's messed up, dude. I was like kind of scared. I was like, oh, dude, what if there's this like Indian hitman that's gonna like come over? I don't know what the Indian is there like
there's got to be an Indian mafia. There's a mafia for everybody's got a mafia.
Japan's got the Yakuza. Russia's
Italy has the Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, Russia's got the KGB. That's actually official, but it's kind of the same thing, right?
Right.
Italy's got all sorts of things going on.
Yeah, Mexico's got cartels and things.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is in India or Pakistan.
Canada's got hockey players. They just come down and high stick you.
But you can see them coming because they got the big hats on.
Sure, and the blades of the skates make a lot of noise. Yeah. Unless it's winter. If They're coming to kill you in the winter. You never know they're coming. They're silent death. That's what they call them. Just silent death. They swoop in. They've sharpened up the blades of their sticks to razor sharpness, and they just decapitate you right in your porch. Whoosh. And then a big red light goes off at a buzzer. Goal!
I wonder if there's there has to be.
Gidget didn't like that joke.
Canadian hockey player horror movie. All right, there has to be one. Here we go. Canadian low budget horror film Skinamarink. It's incredible.
Skinamarink. Skinamarink-a-dink-a-dink. Jimmy Durante star in that one? Man, my references are like 1,000 years old.
I have no idea. It doesn't actually appear to have anything to do with a hockey
Nothing
rink.
with hockey?
But
Well, I just gave away a bazillion-dollar idea then. This is the start of a franchise like Friday the 13th.
it's got to be.
Penalty box of blood.
If I
Come
knew
on.
anything about
That's
hockey,
a good title.
if I knew anything about hockey, I'd make a hockey pun. But the puck stops here. No, I think that was used for broadcasting hockey.
Death in the 5-hole.
How many professional hockey teams do you think use the puck stops here for their radio ads?
Probably all of them at one time or another.
There's no way WGN is like got a lock on the puck stops
No,
here
no,
or
please.
drops here.
I'm sorry, who?
A radio. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It
How,
just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Wait. Since you were
Yes.
talking about your backyard,
Penalty box of doom is good. I like penalty box of blood.
I like penalty box of doom.
Deb, all are good.
Since you were talking about your yard, how are you a land baron now?
Well, Cody, last year we delved into gardening, to growing our own crops in preparation for the end, which is coming. The end of civilization is coming. It's inevitable. So I'm trying to grow some, hot peppers and cucumbers to sustain me for about 48 hours once the end of civilization comes. Then I will turn into one of those guys who just travels the road, stealing and hoarding and pillaging and killing zombies and everything else. So last year, if you remember, why would you? we built one of these stand-up garden boxes.
People listen. I listen. I have started listening to you in the last couple of years.
Listen, sometimes I'm fascinating. But we bought one of these big stand-up garden boxes and we planted all kinds of things, peppers and tomatoes, but we only put them in one thing. And we vastly underestimated how much room crops took. So we put a lot into this. And our tomatoes and our cucumbers were intertwined in an unholy matrimony. Their vines twisting together and their cross-pollination, and I grew something that had a face. It was weird. So this year, Debbie said, well, we got to get another one. So now we've doubled our garden boxes, and we've moved our tomato operation, as I like to call it, into 2 big pots on the patio. So we have double the box space, and we have 2 giant pots with tomatoes growing in them. Plus, we have more petunias in our backyard now than pretty much any nursery north of Piatone.
Wow.
Because we went on Memorial Day weekend, which is our usual weekend to buy stuff. Gidget, you can't yell at me now. I let you in. And anyway, we couldn't find hanging baskets at the first place. The place we always get them, they were out. So we were getting flats, and Debbie was gonna plant them in the pots. So she bought all these flats, and then as we're going to check out, she runs back and grabs another flat of petunias. Then we stopped at another nursery, and we found the hanging baskets. So now we got hanging baskets, and then we got pots of petunias everywhere. Then we got all our crops, which are already growing in a week. We can already see progress. It's very exciting. And our tomatoes are going crazy. We're going to be, I'm going to be old McDonalding this place soon. We're going to get some chickens. And I've been watching a lot of videos about pygmy goats, and they jump around and they're hilarious. So maybe some chickens, a pygmy goat, just to get Walter even crazier when he comes over. So we can battle a pygmy goat and it's just going to be fun. So we've more than doubled our farm size since last year.
But it's okay. All right. Within your yard still.
Well, sure. What am I going to go out and, buy a plantation?
I don't know how
Just sit on the porch in a rocking chair, drinking a daiquiri, screaming at Debbie, stop singing and get to work.
For all I know, somebody came and reassessed the property. I actually know somebody that just hit their house just got hit by some pretty bad storm damage. A lot of insurance was involved. And they found out that the fence that they had was actually like a few feet into their neighbor's yard.
Oops.
But on the other side, the other side's neighbor's garage is on their property, technically.
What?
So the properties are just way off. They're just like several feet off of where the actual assessment is. So I don't know what's going to happen.
My. Yes, that would be interesting. Imagine going to your neighbors. Hey, we're going to knock down your garage. Why? Because it encroaches. Yeah. Can't have encroachment.
Yeah.
See this? This is a line. See this? This is your garage. That's over the line. So sorry.
Yeah.
Or you got to pay us rent in perpetuity.
That'd be fair.
That would be fair. You got to, here's how much of my lot you're on. We've, get your house appraised, fraction of the garage. Could be a couple $100 a month.
Yeah. In Illinois. I was going to say that sounds high, but we're in Illinois, so probably not.
You have to shoot for the stars, Cody.
I can relate to the tomato thing. I just heard my wife say today. She said we decided not to go with tomatoes because they take over the whole thing.
They do take over a lot. But I was making fresh salsa like a lunatic at the end of last summer.
Oh,
because we had peppers, we had tomatoes, we had and then I would just buy some garlic. We didn't plant cilantro.
No, and that's why they call it Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That's right.
Specifically,
they just keep coming.
Everyone calls it that.
Everybody calls it. And then everybody who grows tomatoes always goes, "Would you like some tomatoes?" They come over with a big bowl. "Would you like some tomatoes?" No, I didn't. No, stop. I don't want any tomatoes.
I do.
Do you want tomatoes?
If people offer you tomatoes, take them. I'll take them.
All right. We don't grow like the big beefsteak ones. We grow little, not cherry tomatoes, but like Italian little Roma tomatoes.
Okay, that's fine.
But everybody I know who grows tomatoes always has way too many. Here you go. Want some tomatoes? No, I don't want any tomatoes. I got tomatoes of my own. I got enough tomatoes. Tomatoes. Everybody's got tomatoes.
God,
everybody. So how is it? I have never gone to any class reunion. I couldn't wait to be done with high school and all of that. You went to your 20th. Did you feel like an old man?
No. Everybody I saw looked pretty good. I recognized everybody I saw. Yeah, it was cool. So I planned the 10-year. I was the class president when I graduated.
Wow.
So I planned the 10-year reunion, and we blew basically all our budget on a nice like banquet style. It was like at Cliff Breakers in Rockford. Nice dinner. You would order the dinner ahead of time, like at a wedding. There was a DJ. We all danced. It was formal. Like it was chill. Probably 50 people or so.
Okay.
My graduating class was, I'm gonna say, a couple hundred, roughly. So not the majority, but like people came. And then this one, everyone around that time, people were still on Facebook. Mm-hmm. People hadn't like gone burned out. We didn't know how evil it was and all that. So most people were on, and most people were in this group, and everyone in the alumni group talked about it and planned it, and that's kind of how I got connected with everybody. Okay. Well, about last summer, some people in the group, they're asking, is there a reunion next year? What's the plan? What's the deal? What's going on? And I just went in and I was like, I'm having a baby in December. Like and my job was insane last year. So I just couldn't. I had no capacity to even think about it. So a couple of people in Rockford were like, "Hey, do you care if we plan it?" And I'm like, "Please, by all means. We've got like $600 left in the bank. Here it is. Just like make it happen. I'll show up." Great. So I didn't plan this one. So they put a poll in the Facebook group and said, "Did I tell you this?"
No.
They said, "Do you want to have a reunion in Rockford, or do you want to have a destination reunion?"
Oh God.
I didn't tell you this?
No, thankfully.
All right, so a handful of people voted, and destination reunion won. So I didn't know what that meant. I voted no, and
No.
so I got on the phone a little bit later with the organizer when I gave her the money, and we talked through like kind of how I'd organized it and stuff. And I was like, I feel like I saw the poll. I love the idea of traveling, but like teachers can make it if you do it in Rockford. Like our old
Mhm.
teachers and stuff. Uh, and she was like, yeah, well, actually, the one of the people who wanted to organize it happens to live in Las Vegas. So what they decided was they're going to have two
God.
reunions. The Auburn High School reunion actually was last weekend in Rockford. The Rockford edition was Saturday. And I believe
Okay.
this coming or next coming weekend, there's like a 4-day reunion in Las Vegas.
Uh,
I'm not going to that.
okay.
I don't know who's going to that. I hope it's really fun. I hope it's well attended. Clearly, some people wanted to make it happen. It's like that's cool. Pretty unique for a union.
Yeah.
Whatever. Um, so this
I'm
was the
guessing
Rock.
it's the cool kids from high school.
I have no idea.
The
I was
clique.
cool, and I didn't. I'm not
Oh, I
going.
forgot.
So
Yeah, you were prom king.
I was prom king.
Prom king.
I only brought that up 19 times.
You've brought it. You've gotten mileage out of it.
Oh yeah, I still do. So this one, much more low key. It was at a park in Rockford, just a park district site, and they just brought in some food, and there were basically some picnic tables with our class colors and the tablecloths, and just some food and snacks, and a couple boom boxes, and playing music, and it was a grand old time. I'd say like
Nice.
30 or so people showed up.
Oh, not too many.
So if you don't know this about my school, so I went to the Rockford Public Schools, and in the Rockford Public Schools, within Auburn High School, there was a accelerated learning program called the Academy.
Oh,
The Academy was a 1st through 12th grade program. You could test in at any time or leave or whatever. I was in the Academy all 12 years. Yeah, you didn't know. This is like a
no, I
big.
didn't know. I
this is
didn't
a-
realize you were like some brainiac. I
No,
knew
this
you
is
were
a
smart, but
this is a big part of my origin story. So, because that's where I know all my friends from. I've known most of them since 1st grade, and that's why. Because the Academy was about 60 to 80 kids, and each year there would be 3 teachers. We divided between 3 teachers.
okay.
So at some point you're one of 20 kids of the 60, and it changes who your classmates are. So you're spending your whole childhood with the same people, basically.
Wow. Okay.
Like this woman Cabria was at the thing, and Cabria I've literally known since 1st grade. Like I've just known her my whole life, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So the Academy was in high school. The Academy was the classes took place within Auburn High School, which was not primarily Academy students. We were like a small fraction of the school, and the rest was the Kappa program, which was the creative and performing arts, and then just the general population.
Gen pop, sure.
Yeah, Gen Pop, and in in like Rockford has a very broad range of of class and everything, and
Sure.
and
Used to be was it the screw capital of the world? No.
screw capital of the world, yeah. But like Academy students tended to be more upper middle class. Tended to be. They were not all, but they tended to be a little more kind of upper middle class. And our education clearly went further. We were taking AP classes sophomore year, stuff like that, and the rest of the population wasn't. And actually, it just so happened that Auburn was like a primarily Black and minority school, and a lot of the Academy makeup was more predominantly white. But that made for a really cool integrated racial situation to where like there was a lot of diversity at my school, of every kind of all like race and income level and everything, all of it. And that was
nice.
I genuinely valued that, and I've always valued that. And it was a really special thing for me to be taking like these really like high level courses for my Academy courses, but then also be in like health class and gym class with people, who didn't have that. Like I was in theater productions where I was driving my one of my co-stars of this show, Reggie. I would drop him off at his house after every single rehearsal because like he had no way of getting home. Like he just he didn't have a car, and his family wasn't able to get him. So I that was really cool. So going back, that's what the reunion reflected. It was a very diverse mix of people. There were like 4 white people basically, and then everybody else, which is not like I don't have that many, like most of my friends are just happen to be white for whatever reason. And it's just the way it is. But so I don't get to like interact with, like people that aren't white that often. So it's cool to like just have that, right? Like a little bit of like, let's like all chill and like it's cool or whatever. Kind of randomly harkens back to our discussion earlier about my son, like, not seeing race or whatever. Like he's going to go to school here in depending on what suburb he's in, there's a good chance he could end up at a school that's mostly this or mostly that.
Right.
But for us, it was a really good mix. So anyway, the reunion, what I learned about reunions, Brian, is that it's not really about like, I envision, what do you think people talk about at reunion?
I would imagine there's a lot of remember when. I would imagine there's a lot of what are you doing now? That kind of stuff. Do you have kids? What do you do for your job? What have you been up to in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
And remember that time we set the science teacher on fire? That was crazy.
Wasn't really like that.
Really?
I was very one person asked me the whole time what I did, and then I was like, "Oh, what are you up to?" And she told me, and it was like 3 seconds, and we just moved on. There was a woman, like I said, I had 12 years of school with. We mostly talked about like having kids and what it's like having kids, and like how it's what we understand differently about our childhoods and how it's changed and stuff. And and a lot of like some funny stories about people that weren't there.
Okay.
Like, remember this guy? Oh, this happened after college. Like, the crazy stories of like, oh, this guy went off and like kind of went crazy, or like, oh, went after this girl and she wanted nothing to do with him, or like a lot of gossip.
Those kind of things. Yeah.
But it was like it was really fun, and it was a fun vibe, and like,
well, that's nice.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be like, oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do?
And like, but you were also like you were the kings of your kingdom. You were one of the kings of your high school. I despised high school.
Yeah.
And I haven't kept in touch with anyone.
Yeah.
So I have, like, for me, it would be miserable. It'd be like taking me to an inquisition. I have nothing. No, I had no desire. Zero.
And I could not get a single. I had 2 friends committed to go, and then they both flaked on me last minute. And I need to recognize that high school was not as great for some people as it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I get why people wouldn't go, but they were talking about wanting to do a big blowout 25 year, and I actually really want to help plan it and try to get more people to go.
Okay.
There were like 20 or 30 people at this one, and it was good. It was fun to catch up. There are people I didn't even recognize till they said who they were, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, or I saw you at the 10 year, like how you doing? And one of the guys drove in from Davenport, so we talked about the Davenport building collapse.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so some current event stuff, but it just felt like a cool, chill party where we've got a lot in common, and there's just kind of a shared.
I think the people who had a great time in high school love going to those things, But if you didn't like high school, nah, not for me.
Yeah,
like I would go to anything at Southern. I'd go back, anytime. Meet the people that I like there and go for, but nah. So I get it. I get it I don't know if Debbie went to any reunions before she met me. She hasn't since she's met me. So I'm guessing that's more, weren't probably too many before she met me. Molly, I don't know if they've had any yet. No, it's only been 9 years, because it came up as a Facebook memory that 9 years ago tonight, she graduated from high school.
Yeah.
So she's not up for one yet.
Wow.
But yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, though. I mean, I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I just get why people wouldn't want to go.
No, it's legit. And like Mike just said in the chat, I figure I haven't talked to these people in 30 years. Why start now? My friend John Martin from Game Life Balance US, his whole take is like, I already talked to the people I want to keep talking to, but that's not that it having that. I think that misses the point. It's not really about going and seeing people that you care about.
Then
That's
what's the point?
the
What's
point.
the point of a reunion?
The point is going to a social event where you have something to talk about that you don't always have the opportunity, or sometimes you don't ever have the opportunity to talk about. It's people that you from your past and what happened to them, where they went, what impact they had on your life. I mean, the most fun conversations were about the people that didn't go, frankly.
Okay.
Um,
Just like in high school, talking behind people's back. See? That's no, thank you.
no, but that's it. It isn't about the people. It's not like about like, oh, you have this thing about you that I can't wait to reconnect with. It's like we have a shared reference point that we can now discuss and just bring up and kind of a epilogue kind of conversations,
Were there
right?
any
Like,
girlies there that you used to be sweet on?
no, there was one girl that was very, very funny, and she was like, she got sloshed and walked over, and she's like, "So I hooked up with my high school crush last summer. Finally, it took me 20 years." Like, went into sordid detail, and it was
Wow.
hilarious. And I didn't know the guy that she hooked up with, but she was very funny. Because yeah, you also go in. There's some level of comfort, like because of the familiarity. Like I just felt like not as guarded as if I went to a party and didn't know anybody. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Yeah.
as an extrovert, that I think if you are listening and you have the chance to go to a reunion, even if you quote unquote don't care about the people, if you didn't hate high school, if you hate high school, just don't go. But if you didn't hate high school and you don't think you're that interested, and you're a little bit outgoing, even if you're not a little outgoing. This guy, Billy, not outgoing particularly. He seemed a little more kept to himself, but he had a good time, I think. Talked to him for a bit. Consider it. Consider the reunion. And because I had a great time. And I'm also not on Facebook, so I have no idea what anyone is doing. So, if you're on Facebook, you see who you want to see. I get it. But I just think it's worth a consideration, and I would advocate for checking it out. But I'm
You
biased.
advocate all you want, prom king.
Yeah.
That yes, you got to go back. I get it. You're the greatest. Blah blah blah. No, but I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. Thanks.
I no more Passaroo, but good for you.
That's okay.
The jock Tammy says the jocks still act like they're still superstars even when they're fat and out of shape.
I didn't see any jocks there, I don't think. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So well, good. And it was in Rockford. And did you get any beefaroo while you were there?
Yes.
I knew you did. Good for you.
Actually,
Don't forget your roots, Cody.
even my wife bailed on me last minute.
She didn't go.
The whole family was supposed to
Good
go.
for
And then
her.
that morning, she's like, I don't really want to be social today. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. See,
Enjoy the children.
It would suck for a wife, for a spouse to go and, first of all, they don't know anybody. And maybe I'm projecting. Like I have no desire to mingle and make small talk and stuff like that. I don't. I hate it. It's the bane of my existence. And if it was like I remember going to a couple office parties with Debbie. Like when we first got to California, there was her firm had a party at the Queen Mary down in LBC, me and Snoop D-O-double-G. So we went down to there and I got to talk to all these people. And then there was a couple years where they did a big thing at the zoo and I had to go with her and I don't know anybody. And the people that introduce themselves to me are people that Debbie has complained about nonstop at home. So the only reason I know their name is because I know they're jerks. So I don't want to talk to them either. It's like, oh, so if you're a spouse, I would bow out of that in a heartbeat. I would feign brain tumor, something. Oh, I think I'm having a stroke. I better stay home tonight. Oh, it passed. I'm fine. when you get home. How you feeling? Did you have a stroke? No, I actually had a couple drinks and watched a movie. It was fantastic. How was the reunion?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And look, some people are going to, like Monique said in the chat, she went to her 20-year, not a huge fan, just sat with the people she was already keeping in touch with. So, that was about enough. And that, I get it. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just bored. Maybe I'm more bored than the average person.
I don't know.
Maybe I just like novelty. Like maybe I just wanted something to do. Maybe I like to fill my calendar. I don't know.
You like to remain busy. You like to seem in demand. I know that because every time I ask you to do something, I have to check my calendar. You like to have to check your calendar.
I always have to check my calendar.
You got to check your calendar.
Speaking of
the weird thing is the weird thing that you bring this up now. So yesterday we were going out to my mom's, and I had bought Debbie a Mother's Day gift at this big nursery near where we used to live, not far from my mom's. Well, when I went to put it together, one of the parts, it had been bored too big, the hole, so it wasn't fitting. So anyway, we go to take it back, and as we're exchanging it, we decide we're going to walk over to see more flowers because, God, I don't know how many more flowers we need. I want it to look like the Wizard of Oz when they're running through the field of poppies in my backyard. I just want the dogs to start trotting and pass out, and then me see Glinda the Good Witch come down and lay her bubble wand on me and just see what happens. I hear Brian, and I turn, and it's his woman, and I look, and she goes, "Oh, you probably don't remember me. I went to grade school with this woman." And thankfully I did remember her, and I remembered her first name, and I was like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And that was really, then it turned really awkward because it's like, oh God, I haven't seen you since 8th grade. How am I now going to make conversation? Because I don't want to make conversation. Not that you're not a nice person. I'm sure you are, but I'm not. And I don't like to I'm bad at it. I get insecure. I get anxious. I don't want to, who wants to talk to me? I don't know why. And she goes, "Wow, you're big success, right?" And I'm like, I don't know. It depends who you ask. So I left it. I was like, oh my God. And so it lasted about 3 minutes, which was 2.5 minutes longer than I was comfortable with. But it was like, okay, good. Hey, nice to see you. Gidgy, stop. So yes, I can only imagine the horror that a whole night like that would be.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then you got a name tag on. "Hi, my name is none of your effing business. Hi, my name is, you didn't like me in high school. Don't pretend you like me now. Hi, my name is, I always wanted to, hook up with you, but you were too cool for me." Why am I wearing so many name tags? I'm like Ray Rayner, just pulling them off.
I will admit, I predominantly talked to the people that I knew, but there was one girl I had spent most of high school hanging out with, her and one of my other friends, and I hadn't seen her in definitely 20 years, and that was really cool. It's like, we did have the social media complemented the conversation. It was like, "Yeah, I see you doing this all the time. What's going on?" And
yeah, that would help.
She also lives in what's the really cool place in Arizona that's like the second Las Vegas?
Reno.
No, not Reno.
Carson City.
The one in Arizona.
Phoenix, Chandler,
Scottsdale. Isn't Scottsdale supposed to be like a really hot party place or something now?
I think all of Arizona is a party place.
Yeah.
Tombstone?
Someplace.
Tombstone?
No, someplace in the Southwest that's really hot. And we talked about that a long time and the music we're into.
Hold on, now Gidget wants to leave.
It's all good. It's all good.
Gidget's very high maintenance. All right. Now you go downstairs.
Anyway, a lot of reunion haters in the chat. That's okay. and with Brian. Again, it's fine. I had to think about it for a long time because I've got like 10 really good friends from high school, and none of them would have considered for a second going ever. So like I need to do some reflecting as to like, why am I so into this and why are so many other people aren't? And I think there's more reasons why you'd be not into it than there would be reasons you're into it.
Right.
So I get it. But I need to do I need to spend more time over the next 3 years before we plan the next one.
Do you feel that you don't get enough accolades now and you need to go back to a time when you were looked upon with starry gazes and people thought you could walk on water?
Right, I've got 2 podcast awards sitting on my bookcase over
Did
there.
you bring them with you?
They're right. I can reach them from
No,
here.
I know you have them in your
Oh.
office. Did you bring them to the reunion? Wearing them around your neck, like, what up? I'm a podcast winner.
That's true. I steamrolled the last like 10 minutes. You have not told me why you hate 7-year-olds.
Oh
and
man,
then
there's a lot. We'll get to a lot. We can talk about the last day of school next week because tomorrow is actually the last day of school. I do want to tell you about Beer Under Glass though, because you didn't get to go with me this year. Debbie went, and she's gone before. She was very happy that you couldn't go because she got to go. And it was back at Union Station in the Grand Hall, which was terrific. We took the train. I complain about public transportation because I don't like the public, but it was so convenient, just like last year. Get on the train a couple blocks from the house. We get off. We walk to the Grand Hall. We drink till we're dopey. Then we get on the train and we come home. Perfect. But I thought of you, and I actually name dropped you at one point because I went to the Distill table, and you know what came from Distill? The dill pickle beer.
The pickle beer in conjunction with Sucker Punch.
Yes,
No.
but now. So I tell Debbie goes, oh, dill pickle beer. I go, you got to try this because it was new last year, and Cody and I tried it, and we talked about it, and it was great. And she's like, all right, I'll try it. But they also had spicy dill pickle beer.
What? Shut up.
Yes, has not been released yet. Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. It was, I said, oh my God, this is like drinking a michelada. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it was hot. It was, when it says spicy, spicy.
Okay.
Spicy. But Debbie liked the dill pickle beer. She tried it. She was like, oh, I probably couldn't drink more than one, but this is really good. And oh, you know, it would be good if we put some put it in with a Michelin. I was like, yeah. So she was sold on the dill pickle beer. Nice. They were worried, I was told, that because it was on Memorial Day weekend this year, that they weren't going to get as many breweries. They had more breweries this year than ever before, 125 breweries. Wow. And they changed the layout a little bit so it felt more open. Even though there were more brewers, they moved some more brewers to the edge and took out one of those islands. So there was more room to move around.
Cool.
Big crowd. Again, it was great. Some things that would surprise you that I enjoyed. Energy City, which is in Batavia, put out a fruity marshmallow treats. It was like a lactose. It wasn't a sour, but it was kind of going to the sour edge. And I was like, oh my, this is quite good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot for something. They also had a banana split one, which I didn't like quite as much. But yeah, the fruity marshmallow treats was just, it was insane. It was so good. Only to be outdone, and I'm giving you some of the more unique ones first. Let's see. Oh, so the fruity marshmallow treats was a Berliner style Weiss beer, and it says it contains fruit, so you're supposed to turn the can upside down and swirl it before you pour it, so everything gets mixed up.
Oh,
delish. Then this was the weirdest one because Debbie, I was getting something else, and Debbie came over and she's like, you got to try this. You got to try this. It's so weird. It tastes exactly like a grape popsicle. And I'm like, there's absolutely no way it tastes like a grape popsicle. Then I sipped it. It was like eating a grape popsicle. It's from Obscurity Brewing, and it's called Grape Pop Cultured. And it was a grape pop inspired ale. And it was, again, one of those beers that you couldn't drink a ton of, but it was really nice. And it was freaky how it didn't taste like beer. It tasted like grape pop or a grape popsicle. But if you drank a couple of them, you'd be loopy. you know. So that was obscurity, and they're in Elburn, Illinois. Then I went with a couple of my other faves. Art History Brewing in Geneva had a dark Czech lager, which was really good. Kishwaukee Brewing had an American style brown ale, which I really liked. And then this is one I know you would have enjoyed. One Allegiance had Double Stuff Rambler Barrel Aged Stout. It's an Oreo inspired barrel aged stout. And you know the taste of the cream in an Oreo?
Yeah.
So you take the sip, and the first flavor you get is undeniable, that vanilla cream from an Oreo. And that lasts for a couple seconds. And then as it fades, the bourbon flavor comes up. And it was phenomenal.
Who's it by?
One Allegiance. They're at like 128th and Cicero. I think it's Midlothian. And that was good. But we tried a bunch of good ones. And there were, our friends from Exit Strategy and Flapjack were there. And I didn't see Goose represent. They must have been there, but I didn't see them. There was some Revolution was there, all the usual suspects, a lot that we had seen last year, some new ones that we hadn't. But it was a really good event. And then we bought some candied bacon. And it was as good as it sounds.
Just candied bacon.
Candied bacon. Yeah. From the Candied Pig. It was they had some food booths back in another room. And so we went in and we tried, they were giving out samples. You could try it. And it was like, oh, yes. All right. We'll take the sweet and savory and we'll take the spicy. And man, nothing but pop it in bacon like I'm eating chiclets. Like, bacon, candied bacon, blah, 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 blah. It was delicious. It's delicious. So I'm sorry you couldn't go. I know you were out of town. You would have had a good time.
Yeah, thank you. I just wrote down a couple of the ones you mentioned that I'm going to try and track down and find. My only gripe about these events is I can never find my favorite beers after.
One of the teachers at school is a beer. She's a beer person, and her co-teacher is also a beer person. And she goes to some liquor store on the south side, or where I think she lives near Midway. So it's somewhere down in that area, I think. And they get beer right away. They do a lot of hop leaf where it's, it had been canned 2 days before, and you can buy singles. So she's like, well, now it's going to stop because school's over. But she would go on Wednesday and she would send me pictures of different beers and go, do you want any of these? That's why I tried the horchata one from Pipeworks. I wasn't too crazy about it. I've tried a couple Maibachs from different places. There was a Metropolitan Maibach. I have one downstairs that I have to try. It's a blonde ale with pineapple. And it's nice because she'll go, well, what do do any of these look good? And I'm like, yeah. And I can get 1 or 2 cans just to try them, which is terrific. But yeah, I like the spicy dill pickle hasn't been released yet. So you won't be able to find it. You can find the original one. And I don't know, at some of these places, unless you go now, the Energy City, that's canned. They were pouring it out of cans, so it is canned. The fruity marshmallow treats, and then the guy from Imperial Oak, either the owner or the brewer, was standing there, and I was like, "Oh, I've been to your place," and I have, and I tried this, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is really good." And I came back and I took a picture of the label so I wouldn't forget, and then he gave me a chip for a free drink. So here you go.
Nice.
Oh, hello. Now we're talking business. Free beverages. But yeah, it was fun. And it was the capper of Illinois Craft Beer Week, so that was great. And so it was a lot of fun. You were missed. The videos I posted were a little more coherent.
I was gonna say, I apologize to the audience for not having me screaming drunkenly.
I tried to get Debbie to take your spot and do that and get really drunk and then start screaming in the videos. She passed. She took a hard pass. I know. I can't. There's only so much I can get her to do.
Dude, I'm the kind of guy that likes going to high school reunions, so I'm the odd man out here.
I'm the kind of guy who likes going to a big giant beer festival and really talking to nobody but my wife. And a couple, a few, like I saw, there was a guy wearing a Second Line Brewing t-shirt, which is from New Orleans. And so I said to him, "Oh, Second Line, I know, and we had like a 4 or 5 minute conversation about New Orleans breweries. And I was like, that's fun. Look at that. We bonded and then we walked away. It was terrific. Couple little Converse said the men's room line was exceptionally long. So a little conversation in the men's room line. But before we even got near the door, once you break the plane of the door, shut up. I don't want to talk to you. I'm going in the bathroom now.
No talking.
We're not social. We're not buddies. We're not none of that. But yeah, there, talking to a couple. I was at Soundgarden. Sound Growler is a place that we had just tried for the first time a few weeks ago. The Mexican lager there was phenomenal, and they have great tacos and stuff. So it was, so I saw the guy and I was like, oh, we were just there. We talked a little bit, and then, so that part is fun. Nice. I don't have to talk too much to people, except the people I'm with, and talking to if I saw a brewer I knew or something, then I would talk to them. Keep the networking alive because it's fun. I like those people. I don't have enough facial hair or tattoos to actually be one of them, but I do enjoy their stories and I do enjoy their product.
Did you wear plaid?
I wore a wild Hawaiian shirt. I did not. I went 180 degrees. I'm not trying to fit in. I'm wearing a loud Hawaiian shirt and I'm going cray cray.
All right.
Yeah. Had some jeans on, Hawaiian shirt. Let's go. Let's start drinking. That was it. That was the way. Nope, I didn't. Listen, I'm an old man. Everybody knows I don't have to dress like a brewer. Plus, everybody else is wearing just brewery T-shirts. I was like, oh, look. So I'm looking at all. That's another fun part for me is people watching, see all the brewery T-shirts. Some derivative, you can tell these people weren't really at these breweries. But then other ones, there's some unique brewers. You go, oh, that's that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that shirt. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But and I felt fine while I was there, and I felt fine on the train. Then I walked in the house and I was like, holy God, what happened to me? I am wow. And we had planned it out enough that we had some leftovers and some other food in the house. In case when we got home we wanted to eat, which we did, but we didn't have to go anywhere because I sat down in the chair and I was out.
That is key. That was my biggest mistake of my week in the last 2 weeks was yesterday after I toked that fat blunt. We did not have any chips in the house.
Nothing?
No chips. There's no snack food. I ate about 8 spoonfuls of peanut butter.
Oh, I like that.
That did not hit the spot.
That's not the spot. No, we always have something salty in the house, whether it's like, because I would take baked chips in my lunch for school. So there's always some, and I'm like, oh, even if I ate the whole bag, it's not as bad as eating a whole bag of Lay's. But there's something. There's either pretzels or there's, some pita chips or something in the house that would satisfy that salty need.
Smart.
But I always need something sweet too. I need something sweet. Even if it's like one of these Yasso yogurt bars that are 100 calories. That's enough. That takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Because if I have a big giant bag of M&Ms in here, they're gone. That is a shame spiral. Then I'm waking up pooping my pants because I ate way too much chocolate.
And that's our show, everybody.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Once again, we end on a high note. But we'll be back next week. There may be a slight schedule change next week. We will keep you updated. We will be on next week. It'll just probably be a different night.
Tuesday.
But we'll do Tuesday. We think Tuesday.
I got to do Tuesday.
All right, we're going to do Tuesday.
I checked my calendar. We can do Tuesday.
Oh, we're going to do Tuesday. Cody checked his calendar. All right, we'll do Tuesday. That'll be fun. But yeah, Marta says she thought I was working at Trader Joe's. Oh, I wish. That would be the dream. Discounts on $3 Chuck. Stop it. All right, so that's all I got for you. Next week we will talk about I'm going to leave my notes about is it okay to despise a 7-year-old, and we'll talk about the last day of school and how I almost died at field day. There's a lot going on.
For you?
For me. I also have some things for your son.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
From the brewery thing? Some beer?
Yeah, I got him some. I got him a sippy cup for beer,
All right.
so the foam doesn't get on it, so he doesn't get a foam mustache. No, I got a few things from school that we'll probably keep him. We might keep him here, might give him to you, because then he can come over and we'll educate the lad.
You can kidnap him anytime.
He's always welcome. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Tell people whatever it is now. I don't know what it is. Hashtag.
Tell one friend about the show. Text them a link.
That sounds good.
Bye.